It all started at a restaurant, the kind of place where the lighting is soft, the chatter is low, and everything feels a little too formal for what's really happening inside you. I was sitting at a long table surrounded by people who were supposed to be family, the kind who had known me since childhood, or at least pretended to. The air smelled like roasted garlic and expensive wine, but beneath all that, I could feel the tension. My sister was at the other end of the table, laughing too loud, playing the part of the perfect hostess. Then she looked at me with that familiar smirk and said the words that would turn this dinner into something unforgettable. "Carol, go find another spot. This one's for blood family, not adopted children." For a moment, I didn't move. Her words hung in the air, slicing through the clinking of glasses and quiet conversations. Everyone laughed. Everyone, even the cousins who once cried with me when I was adopted into the family. They nodded, chuckled, and kept eating like nothing happened. I felt my stomach twist, but I forced a small smile. I had learned long ago not to give them the reaction they wanted. Inside, though, it hurt. No matter how successful, how kind, or how loyal I tried to be, they always reminded me that to them, I was different, an outsider. I moved to another table, my heels clicking against the marble floor like a countdown. I sat alone, watching them from a distance, smiling politely when the waiter came by. I'd arranged the dinner that night. It was supposed to be a family celebration, my treat. I wanted to surprise them, to show a gesture of goodwill, to remind them that no matter how cold they were, I still considered them mine. But as I watched them laugh, mocking me between bites, something inside me changed. I realized I'd been spending my life trying to earn love from people who had no intention of giving it. And that realization, it was freeing. When the meal was finally over, the waiter walked toward our table carrying the bill. A long, narrow receipt tucked neatly in a leather folder. He placed it in front of me, and I looked down at the number. $3,120. I could feel all their eyes on me. My sister smirked, waiting to see if I would complain or make a scene. Instead, I smiled. I reached into my purse, took out my card, and handed it to the waiter. "Here," I said calmly. "Put it all on me." The waiter nodded and disappeared. You could almost hear the confusion in their silence. My sister tilted her head, unsure if I was serious. As I waited for the card to process, I took a slow sip of water, letting the moment stretch. I thought about all the times I'd been left out, the family vacations I was, accidentally, not invited to, the holidays where my gifts were mysteriously lost, the birthdays they forgot. This was the last time I was going to let them make me feel small. The waiter came back, placed the receipt in front of me, and thanked me quietly. I signed it, smiled, and was about to stand when someone touched my arm. It was my sister. "Wait a second," she said, her voice suddenly unsure. "Are you really paying for all of us?" I looked at her hand on my arm, then met her eyes. "Yes," I said softly. "I'm paying for everything. This is the last thing I'll ever do for you." Her expression shifted, confusion turning into something darker. She could feel the finality in my tone, but she didn't understand it yet. I picked up my bag and stood, leaving them sitting there. But what they didn't know was that earlier that day, I had called the restaurant and made a few arrangements. I'd paid in advance, yes, but I'd also requested something special. When I reached the exit, the manager approached the table with a polite smile and said, "Just to confirm, Ms. Carol has officially closed her family membership with us. From now on, your reservation privileges are transferred to her foundation account." My sister frowned, not understanding. The manager handed her a card, my new nonprofit's logo embossed in gold. It took them a moment to realize that every single one of them had just attended their last family dinner on my dime. The family foundation I'd started, the one I had told them about months ago and they'd mocked, was now officially closed to them. They would never again benefit from the scholarships, the holiday bonuses, or the quiet financial help I'd been giving behind the scenes. As I walked out, my heels clicking again on the floor, I felt lighter. For once, I wasn't walking away hurt. I was walking away free. Outside, the air felt cool against my face. I looked up at the stars and thought about what family really means. It's not about blood, it's about love, loyalty, and respect. And if those things aren't there, you're better off building your own family, even if it's just you for a while. I got into my car and watched through the window as my sister finally stood up, arguing with the waiter, trying to understand what had just happened. The rest of them looked lost, confused, realizing too late that I'd been the one holding everything together all along. I started the engine, smiled to myself, and whispered, "Not adopted. Just chosen, by me." Later that night, I received a few texts from cousins, the ones who laughed. They were asking what I meant by foundation privileges. I didn't reply. Instead, I blocked the numbers, one by one. That was the quietest, most satisfying revenge I've ever taken. Not by yelling or fighting, but by showing them that I didn't need them anymore. That I was done giving pieces of myself to people who didn't deserve them. Sometimes revenge isn't about hurting someone back. It's about ending the cycle. It's about saying, "You don't get to make me feel small anymore." That night, as I went to bed, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: peace. If you've ever been underestimated or disrespected by people who were supposed to love you, you know exactly how that feels. And if you've ever found your own version of freedom, you know that's the sweetest revenge of all. If this story made you smile, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying payback you've ever seen? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that prove one thing: karma never forgets.